Hi year ones, it's another brand new lesson for maths in our new chapter, numbers to 20. It is the 3rd of February and it is a Wednesday. If you've got your resources for today, remember you need your tens frames and some counting objects if you like, and particularly for today's lesson you need some toys, okay, to be pretend people. So if you've got them all the way up to 20, you are ready for today. Let's begin. Okay, our learning today is all about to be able to use the terms more and fewer, because we are going to be learning to compare numbers within 20. So our in focus task, I have got two bus stops. I've got bus stop A, which is here. I've got a group of children there, and I've got bus stop B. I've got a group of children there. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video. I'm going to put my screen big enough so you can see both sets of children. So get those tens frames, use your little toys or your Lego, your buttons, whatever it is to help you count how many children there are. Okay, so you need two tens frames. One's for bus stop A and one's for bus stop B. And remember, when you count, you make your 10 for bus stop A and then you count the extra people with the objects that are outside your bus stop, okay, or your tens frame. And the same goes for bus stop B. Now when you've done that, you are going to check which is more, how many children are there more in which bus, okay, or how many fewer children are in which bus, but we'll do that shortly. So your first task, two tens frames, one for each bus, and then you're going to count how many there are in each bus. I would start with bus A, and you're going to get your people and pretend people for your tens frame, and anything that's outside of your tens frame you count on from 10 and you make a note of it. So that's bus A done, and then you do the same for bus B, and then we will compare which has more and which has fewer amount of children. Okay, so that's your first task. When you've done that, we are going to move on to the next part of our learning. Okay, so in our Let's Learn, we are going to do this. So hopefully you've got your 10 for your bus A, and then there will be 3 left over. So you've got one group of 10, and you've got 3 children left over. So that means I've got 10 and 3. That makes 13 children. That's how many there are in bus stop A. Okay, and then bus stop B, I've got my group of 10 again. All of my slots in my tens frame are full. None of them are empty. And then I've got 1 left over. So I know that 10 and 1 make 11 children. Okay, so that's hopefully what you have done as well. So bus stop A has more children than bus stop B. Bus stop B has fewer children than bus stop A. Now this will also form a part in your journaling. Okay, now before we move on to our activity, I wanted to show you what your journaling will look like. So you've got your bus A and your bus B. Okay, so just like you did with your learning partner at home, fill up your bus children here. Any leftovers you draw outside. You could use a circular dot to represent your children. You could draw the smiley face in your tens frame and 3 smiley faces outside. It is up to you. Okay, so you've got your tens frame and your leftover children, so you count on from your 10, and then in this blank here you're going to write how many children there are in bus A, and then you're going to do the same for bus stop B. Okay, so you make your 10 with your smiley faces and any leftover you draw outside, and you write how many there are in bus B, and then you count, you complete the statements below. Bus, whatever letter it is, has more children than bus whatever, and then bus something has fewer children than bus whatever. So you are comparing which has more and which has fewer. So that forms part of your journaling today. And if you have time with your learning partner at home, you are going to do an activity. Okay, and it's quite fun. So you're going to work in pairs, and when I say pairs I mean it's 2 people together. Okay, so you need 2 sets of counters or 2 groups of counters or any object that you would like to use to count, and then you're going to check, you're going to accurately check which group has more and which group has few. Okay, so double check these two children here have made a group. Okay, so there are 15 counters in group A, 15 counters in group B. So you would say group A has more counters than group B, or group B has fewer counters than group A. And if you're at home, you would, instead of saying group A, group B, you might just want to label it as your name and your mummy's name, or your name or daddy's name, or whoever your learning partner is. Okay, so you're going to pick a number from 1 to 20, I would say 10 to 20, and you're going to make that number up, and you are going to check who has more and who has fewer. Okay, so that is your activity for today. When you have done that, we are going to do a little bit of guided practice. Now, the activity can happen at the end of the lesson or any part of the day today. Does not need to happen now. Okay, so you're going to compare using the words more or fewer. So you've got group A has 12 toy soldiers. Now, what you normally do is you make your 10. Okay, so I've got 10 here. All the way I group my 10, so I've got my one group of 10, just one group of 10, and I've got 2, so I've got 10 there. I'm going to count on 11, 12, okay, or I know that I've got one group of 10 and there's 2 left over, so that makes it 12. Right, then you've got 14, so I've got my 10 group B soldiers, or my green soldiers. Excuse the board being silly. I've got one group of 10, and how many left over? Let's count on. 11, 12, 13, 14. So I've got one group of 10 and 4 left over. Okay, so now you're going to pause the video and discuss who has more. Are the red soldiers more, or group A, or the group B is more, the green ones are more, which is fewer. Okay, so when you've done that, we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson. Okay, I'm going to leave this one here for you to do. So you've got pink ribbons and orange ribbons, which is more and which is fewer, which has more, which has fewer. Okay, pause the video, have a go at doing that. I'm going to just move that. Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Just going to scroll back up because that's how many ribbons that you need to be able to see. Okay, so make your 10 and count on. If you need to use a 10 stream, do it, but this is just a practice task before you move on to your worksheet. Okay, so for worksheet 3, you are comparing using more or fewer. You've got 12 counters, 11 counters, make your 10, check how many has more and how many have fewer. Okay, and when you've done that, you are going to fill in this box by checking group A has more or fewer counters than group B. Okay, so that's the first page. You then have your second. You've got group C and group D. You're doing exactly the same. Okay, it's telling you it's got 14 and 16, which is more and which has fewer. So you fill your answer here. If you're struggling to read the question, please ask your grown-up to read it for you and support you with the reading element of the worksheets, please. Then it says count. So it says write the missing numbers or words. Okay, so group A has, in this box here, you've got to count and write however many horses it has. Group B, count however many horses it's got and write it in the box. Then it says group A has so many horses than group B, so you're filling in the words more or fewer in there as well. The same for the second part of the sheet. You've got this one here where you're counting, writing how many sheep there are, and you're completing the sentence at the bottom, and you're doing the same for the cows. When you've done that, you are done for today. Okay, so once you've finished, close your book, have a breather, give yourself a big pat on your back because you have been an excellent mathematician today. Well done, and I'll see you again tomorrow for more learning. Bye!